on recording. Perfect. So we'll record the session. We're talking about 43 Edgeview, the block of land in Saltwater in Point Cook itself. Sold for an amazing price for my vendors, and also the buyers got an amazing block in an amazing location, I should say. As I said, guys, I'm Jazz from Jazz Real Estate Eview Group in Point Cook. Let's talk about 43 Edgeview. It's just an interesting story there, guys. So it starts from the owner itself, and I remember the owners had a very long-standing relationship with ourselves and our organisation from quite a while. And I would like to first of all thank you to my vendor for the opportunity to represent them and their amazing block of land there in Point Cook. I remember the owners suggesting me that, Jazz, when you open up your office, I will certainly give you one of my properties to sell. And obviously, they honoured that commitment, and we honoured our commitment to get the maximum outcome for them. So thank you once again. And let's talk about in terms of how we managed to sell this block of land for more than $1,000 per square metre in the area itself. Now, the block was located in Edgeview. It's just right, it's close to the Homestead Senior Secondary School, close to coming up. Also, it's the amazing location, guys. If you drive past that location, the houses in the street itself, the appeal is just amazing there. Everyone would fall in love with that location itself. There was a video we did on the property itself, which I will be putting down in the next post as well on Facebook for you to have a look, right next to the Facebook live feed. Now, we had numerous offers on that block. Of course, we were trying to negotiate and get the maximum outcome for the seller. We had the offers in the vicinity of around 410 to 420 mark. The block was about 448 square meters, with the price range advertised there was around $450,000 to $470,000 mark. Now, in terms of the buyer who's actually purchased, it's an interesting one. We got a phone call from this purchaser not long ago, probably about 3.5 weeks ago or so. And the purchaser said that we would like to go ahead and make an offer on this block. And our obviously answer was, that's absolutely fine. Are you interested in making an offer on writing with $1,000 deposit on legal documents? Of course, just to test their genuineness and see how committed they are to buy and negotiate with us. The answer was yes. And they said, Jazz, we would like to start up with around 400,000 mark. And the answer, of course, is similar. Market is such. Similar blocks are selling in the area for yada, yada, yada. Our answer to that question was, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, look, let's go ahead and commence the paperwork and let's have a discussion after, because first of all, we need to understand how keen they are to buy. Once that was tested, we started negotiating on price. The deposit was made, contract was signed, we started negotiating with them. So before the offer was presented to the owner themselves, we already worked up the offer to about $435,000. So $35,000 was negotiated before we started talking to the owners and informed them about the offer, because it needs to be close to where we need to report the vendors back with an update. Of course, the buyer had a lot of questions about the block and the market itself, so we answered all of them. Then it was our turn to ask some questions around the offer itself. First question was, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, how did you come up with that number? What would you do if you don't get this block? What are you trying to do? What are you building? Have you spoken to the builders? Have you imagined yourself living in that location? So the number of things were, they were looking to buy close to the schools. Ideal location was top of their mind. Double-story house, which ticks all their boxes, was also top of their mind. They've been looking from quite a while. They didn't miss out on some properties. So clearly there was some commitment from their end, which gave us leverage to maximize the price for the seller. Now, cutting long story short, this deal was on for about, give or take, 2.5 weeks. So the increments or the increases of the offer from the buyer sides were quite slow, and we were taking our time to negotiate as well. So sometimes it was $2,000 increments, sometimes it was $5,000, but generally $1,000 or $2,000 was the increment level from the purchaser itself. Clearly, they didn't want to miss out. They were negotiating, but they wanted to play it slow, hence we were as well. At the same time, one of the statements which turned the game around like that was, Jazz, that's absolutely fine. If the owners don't take my 445, I'll go and buy something else cheaper, and I would rather spend more money on the house itself. Now, some of the times I've been there, done that a lot of times, and some of the agents will say, oh, well, they've got choices available. Now, we played reverse psychology there. Now, I said to the buyer, I said, looks like that's going to be a better option for you at this time, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Why don't we do one thing? Let's find something cheaper, and let's find something in a not so ideal location. That's fine. You can compromise on the location itself. How about we spend more money on the house? But you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer? My concern for you as a client as well is, what if we go to that extent and put in more than 500,000, what you want to do on a house itself, and you, by the time it's finished, and you standing in front of your house, and you realize that you've gone to that extent of saving money on the block, spending a lot more on the house itself, but it didn't work out well because the street is not ideal for that house to be in anyways. I said, I don't want you to be in that situation either. How about we wait for a couple of months and see if we can find something else comes up. Maybe an odd shed block could help. You might be able to snap it up for a bargain, possibly. I don't know. Or maybe once things are opened up, there might be some more blocks. People would list more, but at the same time, there might be some more buyers as well. So you might be competing here and there. You might wait. You might be able to save 5 or 10 grand here and there. How would you like to proceed? And the purchaser response was, yes, let me have a chat with my husband. I'll get back to you. I got a phone call 2 hours later saying, okay, the last will go is 448 or 450. So look, it's not a bad increment. Let me change and send the contracts back to you, and then let's get this initial, and let me go back and have a chat with the owners. So started having a chat, went back, and the purchaser said, what's the current vendor's counter offer? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, the vendors are not in a position to give a counter at this point of time, thinking there is a fair bit of a gap there. How about we try to bridge the gap, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, and see if that entices the owners at all? And went back and forth with a lot of questions and understanding the requirements again. So long story short, sold the block. Price undisclosed at this point of time, guys. It's not settled yet. It is between 450 and 500,000, towards the upper end of 450 and above. So it's an amazing outcome. Similar blocks in the area are selling for around $1,000 or less than $1,000 per square meter. This block of land did get sold thanks to my team, and first of all to my vendor again. Block of land sold for more than $1,000 per square meter. If you have any questions, guys, about this block, or if you're looking to buy in the area, or if you are looking to have some questions answered about your home or the market itself, feel free to give me a call. 04354 68689 is my number. Hope you guys are keeping safe and well. If you have anything to discuss, or if you would like to just have a chat, give us a call. Would love to have a chat, irrespective of real estate or normal conversations. My name is Singh. Thank you so much for your time, and have a lovely day. Take care.